famous businessman Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, ended his work with the Trump administration after about 4 months of work, specifically 130 days of work. The ending was quick but not a surprise. There were discussions on this topic and it came in gradual steps, and from the beginning the truth is, and one expects that one day they will separate, and I will tell you why. Musk's work in the US government was notably innovative. The ministry is called the Ministry of Government Efficiency, and its goal is to reduce government spending. The compatibility between the two very big capitalist poles, Trump and Musk, was in the first very big. Musk supported Trump in the presidential campaign with $300,000 and a gendarmerie at the same time. Trump was speaking very strongly about the Americans. They have strong, strange statistics. Always everything they enter into this world of feeling. Good, of course, scientific results mean. They did a statistic for Trump in the first 2 months of his term. He used to mention Musk in his speeches or in his words on Truth Social, which is his platform. They found that he mentioned him 11 times a week. Very strong, ha ha ha. I mean, every once in a while, what does he say about Musk? I am not happy with him, his talents and his achievements in his administration, and then after that he starts breaking his fast. It began to decrease to some extent in mid-May 2025. Musk's mention remained zero. Zero, and not once did Musk mention it in the last weeks of his term. People wanted the result of this issue to be that he was very interested in it, and after that the interest decreased until it reached the point that he, kept her away from the administration and left the ministry, okay? Mineral reasons for this topic are many, and there are unexplained reasons. The stated reasons for this separation mean that analysts have spoken very strongly about them. The first need is Musk's economic financial loss. Musk has many companies, the most important of which is Tesla, an electric car company. This company lost very large numbers due to Musk's preoccupation with the American government in government work, which is the work of his ministry. Because of the extreme right-wing opinions expressed by his political situation, he speaks more with people on this issue, so he states the needs of shareholders, which is not surprising. They don't like it. They don't like it, this one. The statement means it affected the company's own shares and began to lose losses. Tesla was unprecedented, lost in the US market in the first 3 months of Trump's term. Or the first 3 months of the year, meaning he also took over in January, the first 25% lost sales. Sales decreased by 13%, and in Europe they decreased by 50%. The Tesla brand plummeted from the top spot in America to 95th place. Imagine that this and this 95 came back in front of 6 car companies, and the situation became painful, meaning a very big shock, and this led to very huge financial losses. He lost 130,000 in the first 3 months. Of course, this is a very huge number. His wealth is $420,000. This is, of course, the richest man in the world, and this number has never been seen before. He announces that he has this number, and therefore he is number one in the world and in all of humanity. Before that, no one has achieved this number. Of course, there are people of kings who may have more numbers than that, but they are not announced, but he is the one who announces that he is the richest holder. Now, with this number, even after 130,000 has fallen, he is still number one in the world with 2 dead things and $90,000 in his wealth. But his nature has been greatly affected, meaning almost a quarter of the wealth ended in the first moments. Trump is only talking about 34 months. I ransomed E-Date for the first part. Of course, the shareholders with him in the company are working on him under pressure that they may withdraw from Tesla, and thus the company will collapse. This is one of the stated reasons that he returned to his company Saab, the important government job, in order to preserve the company, preserve his wealth. This, number one. Number two, some people say, by God, the utility of the ministry is no longer useful. It's not big anymore. It's not important anymore. Why the brilliance it had in the first place? The ministry whose work is reported to the Ministry of Government Efficiency estimated that it would save about $160,000 in the first 34 months. Of course, this is also a large number, but on the other hand, they also said that there were losses. As a result of the existence of this ministry, the losses, when they estimated them, amounted to $135,000, dollar meaning it is a gain of $160,000, and a loss of $135,000. The gain in the end is not large. What did they lose to me that made the government lose $135,000 as a result of the ministry's work? First, a weakness in some government agencies, which is the dismissal of their employees, is the dismissal of more than 50,000 employees in the period in which they ruled, or the paragraph in which I took over matters. So he told you that there were some disturbances that occurred in government agencies, some disturbances in the services provided to citizens, some legal problems as a result of the termination of contracts that were not supposed to be dissolved, which is the termination of too many contracts, termination dead for 54 contracts out of 269. I mean, you are talking about most of the contracts. He told you that this is wasted money that has no value, and therefore, it means cancelling it. They said, by God, the difference between what they saved and what the government cost is not a big fraction. There is no point in this work, and with the problems that remain are legal and social. As a result of laying off employees and terminating contracts, I missed something. I thought people were not enthusiastic or to complete the ministry's work. The third point is that there was a big disagreement between Musk and Trump about 2 years ago. The last project that Trump submitted to Congress, Trump did a project like this that he called the Big Beautiful Project. His name is Big House Full Bill. So this is the one. Al, this Big Beautiful Project is a B project that supports the state's defense spending in large quantities. And at the same time, I have a lot of tax exemptions for a large number of citizens. So there are very large numbers that will be dealt with on this issue. They say that the deficit that will occur in America over a decade, meaning 10 years, will reach $4 trillion as a result of this project. Musk strongly objected to the project and said that this project is what he says about it. I mean, he says to him that he is the great beauty. No, he can remain beautiful and he can remain beautiful, but the two are not together. He cannot remain as big and beautiful as this undermines. The pillars and work of the ministry, from what I did, from the first to the last, any success we achieved will be wasted with this project, so they refused and announced this statement. By the way, Musk was not in the negotiations or the secret sessions with the American administration. No, this was on the various media outlets. This was a few days or a few weeks before the separation, so it happened. The disagreement between them also says that Musk objects. However, any problem in the government, they pin on Tesla. They say that they blame the mistakes and that and any losses in the government, in the administration or in government agencies that were closed or something like that, they say, by God, Musk is the reason and Tesla is the reason, and he is preoccupied with his company rather than the government. There is a lot of talk that they carry him with a hanger. They don't do anything. It is possible to comment on the government's mistakes in various fields. This does not please Egypt. Finally, they also say in the stated reasons that Trump's popularity may decrease as a result of a lack of popularity, Musk, than it was. Musk had popularity in the first place. After that, popularity began to decrease over time, and this statement appeared very much in the last electoral campaign in which Musk was the supporter of a judge in the state of Wisconsin for a judicial position, and his support with $21,000 recently, and he also appeared with him in the election campaigns, and he fell. This man means that the Democrats succeeded, and the Democrats took advantage of Musk's lack of popularity to succeed. Their Democratic man is at the expense of the Republican whom Musk supports. This means, let Trump worry because it is his popularity. Musk's popularity, they conducted an opinion poll on it and found that it decreased by 54% in America during the past month, and thus Musk, the audience no longer meets him, and therefore this may affect the popularity in general in the country, which is why he left his administration. All the declared reasons, the undeclared reasons in my opinion are two, and I believe that they are the most important. The first reason is that the two are their personalities. Dictatorship. Do not accept the other opinion that he was raised like this, especially if the two men are very large capitalists, each with a huge company and sponsorship, meaning huge numbers, before he even remains in political office. Of course, we see Trump in his dictatorship. I mean, why does he declare that he does not like the opinion of the other or the opinion of the opposition? He makes his decisions and announces them clearly, far from Congress and even far from those close to him. Why? In the recent Gulf trip, we saw the lifting of sanctions on Syria, negotiations with Iran, negotiations with the Houthis, all of which are irreversible. For Congress or even some of the advisors, people are surprised by such decisions. He is a dictator who does not want to hear another opinion. He also holds the same story and does not like to hear another opinion. As I said, the nature of the work he is doing, the wealth and social situation they are in will remain for them for very, very long years. The meeting of two personalities of this type with each other is very difficult. We in Egypt say that the boat with two presidents will sink as they are two presidents and they do not want to. Another opinion. Even Trump is very strong. With the dictatorial figures in the world, Putin or the president of China or the president of North Korea, he admires such figures who are able to compete with everything he wants without anyone objecting to him. This remains the first point. The second point is related to the first, which is the story of appearance. He wants to remain in the awe, in the center of attention. Each of them does not want to attribute goodness to anyone except to them, and he does not want to attribute success to anyone except to them. Also, in the nature of the two personalities, Trump found the carpet pulling out from under his feet. Everything that works has some success is attributed to the catcher, to the point that some demonstrations have taken place in it. America Abdul, we did not elect Musk. We elected Trump to be head of state in a gesture until most of the successful or influential decisions in America are taken by Musk, and after that, Trump shows them. Of course, Trump does not like this because he does not want to. The credit goes to Musk for any success he has achieved. On the contrary, he always wants the credit to go to him. Even the projects that he works on and the results of them after the end of his term will be workers that people think about. Keep in mind that I am the one who started this project, even if the results are. It will happen after the year 2029 or... First, I ransom the two reasons that may be the biggest and most important, with, of course, the reasons that we said at the beginning of the episode. Whatever the matter, these are all reasons. This issue may have very, very big repercussions. The product of this dictatorship may have bad effects on the American administration or on the American situation, whatever the matter is. We ask God Almighty if it is. It makes it easy for Muslims to do what improves their conditions. Perhaps it is good. The disintegration in such an atmosphere slightly relieves pressure on Muslims. We hope God honors Islam and Muslims. May God's peace, mercy and blessings be upon you.